The fucking level now, man.
It's insane.
Some of these guys like that, you know, like Khamzat. Look at that guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what the fuck, man?
Hey, and you want to hear what I hear. It's crazy.
With the training sessions?
Yeah.
That's what I hear too.
He's over, because Darren Till's there right now
at
All Stars in Sweden. And
what'd Darren tell you?
He's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
He's just an absolute animal, non-stop in every way, striking, wrestling, conditioning. Apparently, you know, because all his fights are finished real quick.
Yeah.
So he's never had to show that side of things. But apparently his conditioning is like nothing you've ever seen as well.
Well, you see the training footage and you see the intensity that this guy pursues everything with. It makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, he's only been striking for a few years.
I know, it's crazy.
That's nuts. When you see the way he knocked out Mearshart, you're like, Jesus Christ.
He's a nice right hand.
Beautiful. Perfect. And there's another video of him when he was younger where he knocked the guy out with an uppercut. Did you ever see that video?
No.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best uppercut KOs I've ever seen in my life. He just made a read, perfectly placed, stepped in, blop, and just flatlined the guy with an uppercut. I mean, he's doing things technically and he's doing things like hyper aggressively, like at the same time.
Yeah.
He's an unusual dude.
He's a very unusual dude.
Those Chechens, man. They're some fierce fucking human beings.
I heard some stories about that as well, which
Chechnya
I'm not going to go into.
It's a hard place.
It's a very hard place. Apparently there's a lot of craziness going on there right now. I mean, he comes from a tough place.
Yeah.
From a tough place, you're going to create tough men. I mean, look at him. The guy's an absolute animal.
It's
and that's why he trains so hard.
That guy has, I think, how many fights does he have in the UFC now? Is it
4?
4? He's been hit twice.
Yeah, and one of them, one significant strike he's taken was just trying to punch off the guy choking him out.
Yeah.
That's not a significant strike.
That doesn't even count.
That's a defensive, get off me.
That shit
I'm
doesn't
about
even
to
count.
go unconscious.
Yeah, that literally doesn't count.
No.
Khamzat Chimaev has had 4 fights in the UFC. He's been hit twice.
What?
Dude, he's undefeated. He has more victories in the UFC than he's been hit. And I'm not exaggerating.
Shit.
He's so fucking good, it's terrifying. He's so good, it's terrifying. He is the future. If he can maintain this standard of performance as he faces stiffer and stiffer competition, and we'll find out very soon because he's fighting Gilbert Burns, who's a world champion jiu-jitsu guy, top of the food chain MMA fighter, a guy who's been in there against Kamaru Usman, a guy who's beaten guys like Damian Maia, a guy who's beaten Tyron Woodley. He's beaten like elite fighters. He's a big step up in competition for Khamzat. But if Chimaev can beat him, if he can beat Gilbert, he's the real deal. And we're going to find out because the competition that he's faced so far has not been anywhere near the level of Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is absolutely elite. He's a fantastic striker. He is as good on the ground as anybody. He's so good. His jiu-jitsu is so top level. His wrestling is excellent. His cardio is excellent. He's a fierce competitor. And he's a world-class fighter. He's like proven world-class competitor. So that's a big fight. And that's coming up next. I think that's in Florida. He's several fights away from fighting Usman. Because if you look at it realistically, right now I think Leon Edwards is next for Kamaru Usman. I think Dana White has said that, and I think that's right. That's the best fight. Leon is a spectacular fighter, super technical, super high level. That's going to be a great fight. They fought once before. Kamaru won a decision, but it wasn't like he didn't destroy him, and Leon has gotten substantially better. So is Kamaru. That's a great fight. That would be next. But if Khamzat can keep going, if he can get past Gilbert Burns, and that's a big if, because Gilbert's a big step up, but if he can maintain the level of performance we've seen from him sometime up until now rather in the octagon, that's a big fight. But there's a lot of ifs there.
Right.
That's the sport is. Look, he got really sick with COVID and kept training and almost retired because he's so tough that he tried to keep training when he was recovering from COVID and got like his lungs were bleeding. There's a picture of him where he posted on Instagram that he was going to retire. And he showed a photo of his toilet bowl, and the toilet bowl was filled with blood, like splattered blood from him coughing blood. He was one of those guys that's just like too tough and kept training and didn't recover. Like he got COVID and was like, fuck it, I train. Even with COVID, I fucking train. So he kept training while he had COVID, and he was like coughing blood up, and it took him a long time. He was in the hospital on multiple occasions. More than one time he was in the hospital for COVID because he would get better. They let him out of the hospital and he would train again. And then he'd get back in the hospital. They're like, what the fuck are you doing back here again? Like he wouldn't just recover. So he's just an animal, just a complete animal.
Yeah, right.
But super technical too. Like an elite wrestler, fantastic striker, work ethic second to none. So it's going to take someone like that. And again, he's got to keep going. He's got to beat guys like Gilbert Burns. He's got to beat world-class fighters for him to legitimately have a shot at the title. But if he can keep going, what a story that is. And that would be an epic fight. Again, there's a lot of ifs.